Welcome to Brain Wrestling. My name is Derek Christopher. Of course, I am here with the man who thinks the end of days is going to be upon us tomorrow with the election, Walter Jacobson. Walter, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Tomorrow's the big day. It's the election. Now, is this the most consequential election that you can think of in the last 30 years?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Even more than that. But yeah, so this is this is nation splitting kind of election.
What was it? 158 million people voted in 2020, which I
Uh-huh.
think was close to record numbers. 72 million people have already voted. So almost half the people who voted 4 years ago have already voted. Where do you think that leans? What do you think that's telling us? Or does it tell us anything?
Well, for one thing, it tells me that we should stop doing this sort of voting where people can vote weeks in advance. I think it's completely inappropriate since there are news cycles that are going on every single day. There's October surprises every single day. So for somebody to make a decision like 3 or 4 weeks out, it seems nonsense to me.
Do you think that you don't like it because you think that people can change their mind in the last few weeks, or because there could be some sort of shenanigans going on with the ballots?
Oh, I would say both. I think, the more you have these ballots floating around, then you really don't know who's doing what. But I think that you need to give people the opportunity to change their mind. My opinion is that a lot of people actually do change their mind in the last week or 3 or 4 days.
Do you really think with these two candidates, people are changing their mind?
If you look at the polls, you see trending changes. So that must
Big
mean,
shift. Yeah, big shift in the polls just the last day.
I know. So that means people are considering changing their mind,
So
right?
what do you make of Iowa? The big surprise yesterday was Iowa all of a sudden leaned towards Harris by 3 points.
I know that is pretty wild, and she's upticking in a number of places. She's starting to uptick back again, and I'm not sure she'll have enough time in the next couple of days. But I don't know. Maybe it was Saturday Night Live that changed everybody's mind. Have you?
Do you get the impression though that Trump really wants to be president? I mean, I was just watching him. I was watching his rally. I don't think this guy really gives a shit. I think he enjoys pomp, the circumstance. He enjoys the crowds. I don't think he really cares about the job.
Well, remember, he's a narcissist, right? I mean, nobody
Yeah.
can forget that. And so in his mind, I remember way back when he was saying, "I want to be the greatest president God ever like created." I think he's so like grandiose that he does want the presidency back. He does want to show everybody who tried to destroy him that he's the winner. Does he actually want to actually play out the part of being president? If that's what you're saying? I don't
No.
know, but maybe that's why he surrounded himself with all these other people so that they'll do the
Yes.
work. What?
Yeah, he wants his loyal subjects. I think when he took office in 2016, he actually tried to surround himself with people who were knowledgeable and had some idea and whatnot. But because they contradicted him, he kicked all of them out. So now you would see a Trump administration, I think, with nothing but yes men, people that want to sort of just praise him, people who want to bow down to him. That's really what he wants.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think he's wanting Elon Musk to just bow down to him. I think he wants Elon Musk to get rid of $2 trillion worth of waste. I think he wants RFK Jr. to actually like clean up the food and the water and the vaccines and all that stuff.
I would agree with you. I think if he had any clue as to what these guys actually did and do or how they would do it, I think in theory he goes, "Oh yeah, it's like you want to get rid of $2 trillion in waste? Yeah, sure, you can do that. Okay, let me hire you." He has no idea what they're going to do. It's just like the healthcare plan. He was trying to get rid of Obamacare for years and years and years, and then he said, "I actually have no plan. I don't even know what I would do to replace it." And he's actually walked it back now that he doesn't want to get rid of Obamacare.
He does or doesn't now.
He does not.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't get rid of something until you have something to replace it with. That's
But
equal
that's
or
what I'm
better.
saying. But he comes up with these grandiose conclusions, but there's absolutely no detail in how he's going to get there. We're going to make America great. We're going to make Derek great again. We're going
Oh,
to make America great. How are you going to do it? We're going to
okay,
have the
well,
best healthcare plan ever. How are you going to do it? We're going to get the most jobs for Black people. Well, how are you going to do it? There's not a single specific in anything.
okay, but I'm inclined to believe that Kamala Harris doesn't have much to offer either in terms of details. She's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and she can't even
She's actually
complete
put out at least an 80-page document explaining how she's going to do it.
Yeah, except if you believe any of that crap,
Well, if you believe any of it, yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't mean anything. But when she's standing there in an interview and someone says to her, "Well, what about this? Are we better off 4 years from before?" She doesn't
Yeah.
have an answer. She never has an answer about anything. How's she going to be at a negotiation table with all these significant people and they say, "Well, foreign policy." She said, "Foreign policy is very complicated, but it's not really. All you got to do is know who your adversaries are and keep them in line."
But no, it's very complicated because when you got people like Putin and whatnot who can just do things on a dime, how do you deal with insanity?
Oh, it's frightening. Whoever shows up as the winner, it's going to be frightening. But the bigger frightening part for me is that I see the Democrats as a party of censorship. That if you don't agree with them,
I
then you're,
agree with that.
and that I think is the biggest problem. They want to get rid of the First Amendment, saying, well, the
See,
First Amendment really should be changed.
See, but this is where you give me a bad rap because somehow you think I'm not a Republican, I'm not conservative, and it's like Liz Cheney. People say, "Oh, Liz Cheney's horrible, she's terrible." Liz Cheney is one of the most hawkish conservative Republicans out there. The only thing she doesn't like is Trump. And her dad was a fucking disaster. Her dad was a total war hawk. But so, on a lot of things, I am ultra conservative on. But just because I don't care for Trump, I don't know why that changes my credibility as a Republican.
But because well, it changes. I guess it changes the credibility with me because I know you hate him so much, and he's corrupt, and he's a liar, and he's
I
a
don't hate
narcissist.
him. I would hang with him. I would totally, I would chill with Trump. I would have no problem with that. But I think he's too fucking crazy. He's too old now, and I
Well,
do think that his mind is a bit out there.
it may or may not be the case, but the question still comes to me as, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And anyone who's
Yes,
paying attention, the answer is
yes,
no. What?
yes.
You are.
So are you.
Yeah,
This is
yeah, but
see.
but
This is what I
but the
find
lower
incredible.
class, the middle class, these people can't buy eggs.
No, but you asked me, am I better off? I'm asking you, are you better off? Yes, you are. People who had jobs, who had homes, they're all better off than they were 4 years ago. That's why I find it so funny when I find middle-aged white men who go, "Oh, woe is me. I'm just so much worse off now than I
Well,
was 4 years
I've
ago."
never said, I've never said that. What I
No,
have
no,
said
no,
is
but
that,
I'm saying in general, what I hear, it's like, wait, your $1 million home has become a $2 million home. Your $1.5 million retirement plan has become a $3 million retirement plan in the last 4 years. And then people are complaining about eggs being $1 more a fucking dozen. Tell you what, I
okay,
will be happy to pay $1 more a dozen if my house doubles in value.
look, those people who are the elite and super rich and making several $100,000 a year, if
Those
not
aren't
more.
elite. Those aren't super rich.
Look, the bottom line though is the majority of people are not rich. The majority of people are working class and they've gotten shafted by democratic policies.
Tell me if you agree with this or not. If Kamala wins, she's going to help the bottom 5% of the country. If Trump wins, he's going to help the top 5% of the country. The other 90% is fucked either way. The middle class is fucked either way.
Okay, however, going back to the Democrats being the party of censorship, wanting to get rid of
No,
the
no, no, hold
Constitution.
on. Let's go back. Let's keep it on economics. Tell me I'm wrong on that,
Well, you
or I'm
are
right on
wrong.
that.
Well, here's what's going to happen, though. You see, they're going to continue to do the forever wars, and so billions of dollars are going to, hundreds of billions of dollars are going to continue to go to Ukraine. A ton of money is going to continue to go to climate change. A ton of money is going to go to illegal immigrants, giving them hotels and
Yeah.
cell phones, and all that money causes that we're printing causes inflation, which is going to make everything worse.
Okay, fine. I can agree with that. Now tell me what the Republican plan is to make it better and to shore up the middle class
Well, one
specifically.
thing, well, just get rid of the Ukraine war. Get out of there. Stop.
Okay, so if you get rid of Ukraine, are you going to get out of Israel too? Because you can't do one without the other.
Why not?
Because you can't support one country and not support the other country when both countries are fighting for democracy.
Uh,
So what's
I
your
don't think
what's your bigger thing?
I don't think Ukraine is fighting for democracy. From what I've read about this guy, Zelensky, whatever his name is, he's a fascist. He's like shut down. He's censored people in his country. He does not
Now,
believe
where
in
have you read this?
democracy.
Because that's not true.
What?
That's not true.
Well, I know I don't know it's
Ukraine
not.
Ukraine is a sovereign democracy. What right did Putin have to go in to take over Ukraine?
Okay, look, if let's put it this way then. Let's put it this way. Okay, I'm gonna for the sake of argument agree with you that we should stop funding Israel and we should stop funding Ukraine and we should become
We'll go
like
for that.
an isolationist country again. Hey, good luck. You guys are on your own. You fight your own battles because we're not our country's falling apart, man. Our country's falling apart. We can't
It is
afford
falling apart.
to save everybody. We can't save
Well, I've asked you this
ourselves.
before. I've asked you this before. If we just did this for a year with Israel, would that resolve all of our problems?
I, no.
Why?
What do you mean?
Like
Our
if we
problem?
just shut our eyes for a year and said, you know what, you guys are on your own. And we did that to Ukraine and we do that to Taiwan when China comes to come. If we just let everybody be on their own and we just worried about America, is that the policy we should take?
It's obviously it sounds very cold-hearted and horrible when you put it that way. So I would just say to you, there has to be a balance of some sort. Then maybe there has to be a cap on what we're going to provide other countries because we can't afford this anymore.
We can't afford it. I mean, when you see the homeless in the street, you see the veterans being in the street. When you see people can't get jobs, they can't afford food.
And
It's
FEMA had
fucked
no
up.
money. FEMA had no money to get to for future hurricane problems because they gave it all to the immigrants. I mean, there's some distortion of how
Well, they
they.
didn't give it to the immigrants. That was just bullshit conspiracy stuff.
That was that. That was that.
Yeah, it was. It was.
That wasn't.
Here's where I put an article from the media that says that was bullshit.
Okay, and then put underneath that, but Walter says I'm
But what?
bullshit.
Well, look, I think we both agree. I mean, Walter and I actually communicate quite a bit when we're not doing this. I mean, we're texting, we're sending messages, we have dinner and whatnot, and our conversations are like so relaxed, more like this, I think. And I think we both is it fair to say that we both pretty much agree like on 90% of everything.
I don't know, maybe 80 or 75, but yeah, we're there.
But what I think we both agree America's in trouble. I think we both, but I think the question is, where do we go forward? And why do you think Trump gives a shit about the middle class? This is what I don't understand
Well,
is
whether he does,
why does the guy in Fargo think Trump is just like me and he's really going to help me? Trump doesn't give a fuck about you.
well,
I
first
mean,
of all,
that's what I find so laughable.
okay, but you don't know that, and that's the
I know.
problem. You don't
You know
know
what?
that. You don't know what's in
He's
his
got a
mind.
history of not giving a shit about anybody
You
else.
don't know actually what's in his mind or heart. You can't read his mind.
Yeah, you can watch his rally for 4 hours and you know exactly what's in his mind.
That he wants to help people. He wants to make America great again. He wants to make America healthy again.
That's bullshit. Well, yeah, you know what, Walter? I want to be a ballet dancer again. Doesn't mean shit. Tell me how you're going to be a ballet dancer.
Well,
Tell me how you going to make America great again.
well, if you want to be a ballet dancer, just identify as one, and you'll get hired.
Touche, touche.
But
Okay,
the problem is, I really find it funny when the celebrities are all showing up now, going, "We need to move forward. We need to turn the page." They are the page.
you know
They
what?
created this mess. Go forward to what? More of them. They don't know how to manage our country. They're bad
But
news.
if you're making a decision based on a celebrity, you're an idiot and you should not be allowed to vote.
Well, that might take out like 80% of the electorate.
But I got to tell you something. You know what? Joe Biden would still be in there if George Clooney hadn't lit that match and started this whole thing.
Yeah. It's really sad. Mark Ruffalo also, an Avenger, and he's coming out, of course, against Trump. And I used to really believe in him when he was talking about the water pollution and all sorts of problems, and that's really matters. So for him to come
Yeah.
now and everyone to say with a straight face that Kamala Harris is a genius and she's going to save the day and she's going to turn the page, she's an empty vessel. She's a puppet.
I agree. I agree. But I think that Trump is actually worse for America
But,
because
but we had him. See, feelings aren't facts. The facts are he was here for 4 years and he didn't take over as a dictator. The feelings are, but he'll do this, he'll do that. But the facts are he didn't. And
no,
the
but you know
facts are
what?
what Kamala Harris has done and Biden has
No, a
done.
year,
Those are
not,
facts.
not
Wait,
even.
those are facts. How they have failed us at the border with the economy, so many ways they have
They
failed
haven't failed
us.
the economy, though. This is what I don't understand. The economy is actually strong. I mean, when you look at the fact that we came out of a worldwide pandemic where every single country in the world was hit really hard. I mean, why don't you go to England now? England is still hurting from everything that's gone on. Their gas prices are high, their energy prices are high, their food prices are high, their incomes
Now,
are
and ours
low.
aren't.
No, no, we've recovered. We've bounced back better. We have bounced back than the other G7 countries
Well, then
by
what? Then
far.
all of these people are really out of their mind, thinking that they're not better now. They're still thinking
No,
that groceries are a problem.
but
They're
Walter,
still
let's
thinking
be
that they
honest.
what?
Let's be honest. In every economy, you're going to have people who don't get help, that don't go along with the wave of everything going on in the economy. Yeah, look, inflation is up, absolutely, but compared to the rest of the world that had worldwide,
What do I care
inflation.
about the rest of the world?
Well, because you worry. The first thing you said, you worried about Ukraine, so you obviously worrying about the rest of the world.
No, in terms of the economy, I'm worried about us.
No, but I'm saying that when you have these trends and the world, I mean, you want to be an isolationist, but the fact is we rely on the rest of the world. So when the whole world goes into inflation, our only duty is to bring our country out of it, and we have come out of it better than every other civilized country in
Okay,
the
but I
world.
don't believe it was COVID that put us into inflation. I believe it was
Of
uh,
course, it was. It shut everything down.
no, yeah, but then when they started printing money for the Green New Deal and
But
billions of
whose
dollars
idea was
for
it to print
wind
the money?
turbines and or and electrical charging stations, they built eight. Where'd that money go? It
Well, the
went
fact
into
is, look, Trump and Biden gave $6 trillion in handouts to America. And America got fat. America got lazy. They got used to it. They got used to sitting at home, not paying their rent, not paying their mortgage, and not having any responsibility. I remember I drove down Rodeo Drive during the height of the pandemic, and you should have seen how many people were out there shopping. I mean, there were lines to get in to Gucci, into Chanel, because they all had free money. I mean, even property owners said it. They said people aren't paying their rent, they're not paying their mortgage, but they're seeing tons of Amazon boxes being delivered.
I'm
They're seeing
telling
tons
you,
of
I
food
agree with
delivery
you.
services.
People grifted the system heavily when they got all of these rebates and checks and
That's the fault
benefits.
of both parties.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But look, but
And
the
Trump was the one that kept pushing for the free payments. In fact, remember, he was trying to push hard as the election came closer. We need to send out more free money, more free money, more free money. So you can't blame Biden for that, because that was a Trump
yeah,
policy.
but what was that? The Inflation Reduction Act, which he admitted was bullshit, was a climate change progressive act and not a inflation reduction. He spent all this money on the Green New Deal, billions, trillions. I mean that caused inflation. You can't. How can you argue with that?
Is there climate change?
Uh, Maybe, but it's not. Look, everybody who's saying that it's that we have to cut back on beef and eat fake meat because of the carbon dioxide. I've been reading a lot of stuff that says it's a bunch of bullshit. Look, they've been saying we have 6 more years, 12 more years, going back to 1947, and that hasn't happened yet. Someone was saying that the number of glaciers, what's his name, Al Gore was complaining about the glaciers are going to disappear by 1984, and we have just as many now that we did then. People were talking about global warming, then global climate cooling. There's so much disinformation. You know what we talked about? Wait a second. You know what we talked about with the homeless thing, where people make a ton of money off of these government deals, and
Yeah.
actually the homeless don't get helped at all. I think it's the same thing with climate change. I think it's a big money grift, and actually
Oh, absolutely.
nothing's really going on to change the course. And as long as you have China making lithium batteries over there
It
and
doesn't
polluting
matter.
everything, right?
It doesn't matter then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And India. Well, China and India are destroying the
Then why are
environment,
we then
and
why are
who
we
gives a
even
shit?
pretending that climate change matters?
See, I absolutely agree with that.
Okay, so then we shouldn't be spending billions of dollars on it, which could go to people to actually give them money to get loans, to buy houses, to do constructive things.
I remember when I was a kid, they said that the oceans were receding, that we got to be so careful because the oceans are receding and eventually
Right.
they're going to dry up. And all of a sudden it became, well, no, the water levels are going up, the oceans are rising. Where they're rising, maybe in Venice and a couple other spots. You don't certainly see it in Santa Monica. You don't see it in Europe.
Right, what these climate change the advocates, what it really is all about is control and regulations and making money off of their regulations and the alternatives with the wind turbines that kill whales and birds and really are
Yeah.
worthless, and you can't decommission them unless you have $750 million in your back pocket. I mean, there's so much corruption.
You know what? All of government is corrupt. We're not going to change it. It's not going to go back unless you break the whole thing apart, which is impossible to do. We've talked about this before. Everybody's just fucked, regardless of who gets into office. It really
Okay,
does. It really doesn't make a difference who gets into office.
yeah, but it does in one way, and that is, and I'll bring back to what I said before, in terms of the Democrats' censorship, the propaganda, the wanting
Yeah.
to get rid of the First Amendment because they think it's disinformation if somebody
You,
disagrees with the government.
but but you don't get worried when Trump says that he wants to jail journalists and he thinks that some journalists should be jailed because they don't support what he does or support what he says.
You,
I mean, there it's gonna you're
people
gonna
don't
have the
understand.
exact same thing on the other
Yeah,
side.
but people don't understand about Trump is, he says a bunch of bullshit, and a lot of it, is you can't take seriously.
Oh, I agree with that. I was telling somebody the other day. I said all this stuff that Trump says that he's going to be a dictator and he's going to cut off this person's head. He's going to do that. It's all bullshit. He's not when he gets in there. He's not going to do
No, you know
anything.
what? Because he loves to troll people.
Yeah,
He loves to stick it to
that's a
them.
great way of putting it.
Yeah, so he gets a big kick out of saying something incredibly outrageous, and he knows he has a base of people who are not going to care about all the absurd things he says. But try to put him in jail. So they're complaining about, oh, he's going to put his enemies in jail. They tried to put their enemy in jail.
What
So
they try to put Trump in jail.
yeah,
Well, but for his crimes,
well, no,
yes.
for the trumped up crimes.
What trumped up crime? Let me ask you: was Bill Cosby guilty?
I believe so.
What's the difference between Bill Cosby and Trump? Why
Well,
is Trump not guilty, and why was Bill Cosby guilty?
which thing are we talking about with Trump?
The sexual assault. I'm looking at sexual assault. Everybody says Trump was women throw themselves at him. They do this. They did that for Bill Cosby too. Why did people think Bill Cosby was so guilty, but so many people don't think Trump was guilty of his sexual assault crimes?
Well,
What's the difference?
didn't they go to court and all these people came out and he was
It's it,
found guilty?
it's almost the same amount of women that have accused Cosby as have accused Trump. They're both convicted felons. There's no difference. You know what the big difference is? Trump is white. That's why people don't want to say that he's guilty. They have no problem saying a black guy is guilty.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's
Wow.
why people don't want to vote for Kamala. You know, in the deepest, darkest secrets that they have in their hearts, they know the reason they don't want to vote for Kamala Harris is one, because she's a woman, and two, she's not white. Now, if people would just actually admit that, at least I would have respect for them.
Okay, first of all, I think she is white. Okay. I mean, deep in her heart, she's
Change
white.
the tint on your TV.
She is white in just like they call like Larry Elder a white supremacist.
How is
Okay.
she white? Her dad's
She,
Jamaican, her mom's Indian.
excuse me? No,
Her
I'm
dad
making a
is
joke.
Jamaican, or
I'm making a joke about her being white in the sense of how she lives her life, how she behaves.
so she's an Oreo.
I don't know what I'm
Black.
saying.
She's brown on the outside, white on the inside.
But what I find funny is Arnold Schwarzenegger coming out against Trump when this guy was a notorious groper of women. I don't know if you,
Oh yeah,
oh, terribly. And
he fucked his housekeeper and got her and
yeah,
knocked her up.
yeah. And suddenly he's got the high moral ground. I mean, it's just amazing to me.
That's the hypocrisy that people forget about.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everybody's really is kind of a swamp rat in one way or another. But I still come back to the FBI, the CIA being in collusion with the Democratic Party to suppress the Biden laptop and the Steele dossier, and they are that's what I call the deep state is these organizations running our country with the Democratic Party and the mainstream media. All the lying they do, the propaganda. Sooner or later, it's going to be Big Brother with one party, and it's not going to be fun.
Okay, well, we've talked about it before. Let's get into the election now.
Okay.
Who's going to win?
If there's not significant election tampering, Trump.
There's not going to be election tampering.
How do you
Can we
know?
just can we just
How do
pretend
you
that that's not
know?
a thing?
How,
Because it hasn't existed.
I saw
It
on
hasn't.
I saw on X,
Where we
formerly Twitter, This guy was punching. He was in the booth. He was punching the Trump, and it flipped over to Harris over
Yeah,
and over again.
and you don't think those are disinformation videos that they've already proven are disinformation videos? That
Not
they're
not
those are
not that one. I haven't seen someone say that was disinformation.
they've proven all of those to be
Come on,
bullshit. I love the
don't you agree we should not have ballots that can be forged? Don't you think we should have voter IDs? You need an
okay,
ID for
voter
anything.
ID. I'm 100% for.
And why are the Democrats against it? Because they want to fix the election.
No, you know why? Because they want to make because
They're
the
calling it
truth
racist.
is
That's bullshit.
no,
Anybody can
no.
get
You
an
know why?
ID.
I was just going to say because there are minorities who are going to think like I don't want to go in there. I don't want to give my ID. It's very intimidating for
Hey,
them.
if they're
I actually understand that,
Hey,
but
well,
doesn't
maybe
mean I
they should.
agree with it.
Well, maybe they should kind of understand what assimilation means. Means figure out how the Constitution works, figure out how a legal system and voting system
I
works, and go get your goddamn ID. And then,
I'm all for it. I'm
okay,
all
but
for
the
it.
fact that the
Why
Dem
we don't have voter ID, I have no idea.
and so it's not because the Democrats are worried about the little people. That not even close. It's
So
because they want to
what's
fix the
the
elect. They want non-citizens voting. That's why.
no, you non-citizens can't vote in federal elections.
Well, didn't you see what happened in Virginia? There were 1,500 non-citizens voting.
Yeah,
Youngkin purged
1,500.
them.
No,
And
no,
then the
no,
DOJ came out and said, no, you got to keep
no.
them on there. And then the
Tell me,
Supreme Court said, get rid of them.
you understand who those 1,500 people were? 1,500 people signed up at the DMV. You had to check mark a box if you were not a citizen. So if you didn't check it, they automatically just said, okay, you're probably not a citizen. 1,500 people in the state of Virginia accounted for 0.00033% of the voting
Look,
population. So really,
just the
so
fact that they
hold
wait.
on, hold on. After Youngkin said the Supreme Court in Virginia has taken, or the Virginia State Court, Supreme State Court has taken care of it, we now have a free and fair election in Virginia. That had zero impact on which way Virginia is going to vote.
It's not about which way the people are going to vote. It's
Of course it is.
I take exception to non-citizens being able to even go into the DMV and check off a box. That's
But they,
absurd.
but that's
How
it.
and they're not vetted. So what
But
kind
the
of
fact is, they caught that. And it was 1,500 people out of how many people voted? Four
it
and a half
doesn't
million
matter.
in
It doesn't
Virginia?
matter. You have to have an election system which is pure, which doesn't
You
have
can't,
these gray
Walter, when you
zones.
have 350 million people, there's only so much you can do.
Do you think a DMV should be giving driver's licenses to non-citizens?
No,
Okay, so right there, that's a problem. And this whole
but
thing,
that's a state issue. That's a state issue. That's not a federal issue.
well, it should be a
So
federal
why?
issue.
So
And
there's a perfect example. When from 2016 to 2018, Trump had a Republican House and Senate. What did he institute that took care of these issues? What did they change in the? Why are we seeing such
I
a
don't know.
last minute?
I guess he's an idiot too because
Thank
these voting
you.
machines can be hacked. I
But
know
this
that.
is,
I
but
know that.
this is my point. People think Trump is going to save America. He did not do shit to save America.
I think
So why people
let's put
think
it this
he's going
way.
to do?
Maybe he won't save America, but he'll stop the hemorrhaging that the
He
Harris
won't.
Biden
He
are
didn't do it
doing.
then.
What?
He didn't do it then.
It doesn't matter. We're on a downward spiral with the people in power now. That's the
Yeah,
bottom line. We got to get rid of these people.
He's going to do exactly what he did in 2016, which is nothing.
What? He'll at least will be better off than having the
How?
decline with trans people and with open borders and with immigrants and with all this money going to illegal immigrants. All that will stop,
You
hopefully.
know, Republicans love to play the commercial of Kamala Harris where she said that she would give transgender operations to people in jail. You know who was the? It's happened in California once. You know who was president when that was allowed? Donald Trump.
Well, look, if
Did he
you
stop it?
come
No.
on,
This is what I'm talking about. The hypocrisy is on
you've
both
heard her
sides.
say we're going to do a mandatory buyback of guns, and then she flips and says no, everybody gets to keep their gun. However, we're entitled to go into your house and make sure that you're living your life properly. These people are fascists.
Hey, hold on. I'm sounding much too conservative here. I need to change this a bit. Let me. There we go. Is that? There we go.
I-
I need representation on both sides.
Look, if you vote for Harris Waltz, they're gonna waltz all over us, man. I'm telling you.
Okay, what's the electoral count vote? What's it going to be?
Two what do I have
I'm
here?
going to put my
280.
glasses on for this.
Where did I put this? I think I had it at 297 for Trump. Let me see. I'm saying that that the Republicans are going to win Wisconsin. I mean, the Democrats are going to win Wisconsin. The Democrats are going to win Michigan. And I think if Trump could take everything else, it might. Pennsylvania is going to be key. But if he takes everything else, I think he wins.
I think Pennsylvania is going to Trump.
You do?
I think Michigan's going to go to Trump.
You do?
I think Iowa is going to go to Harris.
That's six.
So
That's six votes. That's nothing. But go
so
on.
right now, basically the way things are leaning, it's 234 for the Democrats, 211 for the Republicans, and they're approximately, I don't know, what does that mean? Another 140 people, 140 in between that they're trying to figure out. So if you go with the polls right
47.
now, the way they're leaning would give Harris an electoral, where is it? Would be 308 Harris, 230 Trump.
Where'd you come up with that? What are you giving?
I punched in the 7 states that are in question right now. If Harris won all those states where she's leaning,
Oh, well, that she can't win all those states.
then well, that's what I'm saying. Here's what I put it at. I put it at 280 for Harris, 258 for Trump. I think it's going to be razor thin, but I think she's going to win the popular vote by at least 4%.
So let me get this straight. So let's go down the line. You think Trump's going to win Pennsylvania?
I think Trump's going to win Pennsylvania.
Do you think he's going to, and you said he's going to win Michigan?
He's going to win Michigan,
What is
and
he?
he's going to win Arizona.
You don't think he'll win Nevada?
No,
No.
no,
And you don't think he'll, what about Georgia
no. It's going to go Harris.
and North Carolina?
Harris.
Wow. And Iowa Harris. And
Yes,
Wisconsin, you think will go to Harris?
Harris.
Wow. So what's the basis for you thinking that Nevada, Georgia, and North Carolina are all going to go to Harris?
I think all those hotel workers, I think all the workers in the restaurants, all the people that work in the casinos are going to realize that Trump isn't going to do shit for them. So they'd rather roll the. And you know what? The truth is, a lot of them aren't white, and they don't have the issue of Kamala being a woman and not white. And I think that that's where they're going to go towards.
I think it's really important to have a woman president, but not her.
Well,
Okay.
who then? I mean,
Well,
look,
not this time around. But you
I
can't
hated
have
Kamala Harris.
what?
I hated Kamala Harris 4 years ago.
And you love her
Somehow,
now?
I don't love her, but
How could you? How could you
I
not?
think
Why?
Trump's.
What made you stop hating her? She's the same person.
You know what? I think because a year I voted for Trump in 2016, and about a year into it, I realized that this guy was batshit crazy and didn't give a fuck about America. And I think we need to get rid of Trump because the Republicans need to get back to like a normal tone.
Okay, and I
You
think
know
we
what?
need and I think we need to get rid of Harris so that we can get back to a normal tone too. And we got to
I
get the CIA and the FBI out of government, out of our
Well, but this
democracy.
is what the Republicans don't do. I want the Republicans to worry about the economy, jobs, the stock market, and that's it. I want to leave abortion alone because nobody should be telling women what to do. I want people to leave. I want the First Amendment to be important. All the social things, the government needs to
Okay,
stay the fuck
let's
out of
agree
it.
let's agree that we have to maintain the Constitution and the First and Second Amendment among others.
Absolutely,
Yeah, so that's really important, right?
absolutely.
Okay, so
But you're not going to.
would you switch sides if you discovered that they're going to make exceptions for hate speech or for disinformation, and they're going to like arrest people who speak against the government policy? Will you switch sides then
Which sides to who?
to the Republicans?
Well, I am a Republican.
I know you say that, but you're voting for her, so that makes no sense
But
to
I'm
me.
voting for Steve Garvey also in California because I can't stand fucking Adam Schiff.
Absolutely. You think we'll be able to get rid of that
Piece of
guy?
garbage. Yeah.
Well, I dare say I don't want to call him garbage because he'll be driving around in a truck soon.
No, the truth is the Democrats have completely destroyed California. I never thought that I would want to leave Los Angeles, that I would hate Los Angeles. And Karen Bass is a fucking disaster. And
But you don't believe that an extension of the Democrats for another 4 years is going to make all of that worse? All of that
I think,
Soros-backed money,
yeah,
big
but I'm
deal.
leaving California, so I don't give a fuck about California now. You know what?
I forgot,
You know what?
but isn't there the expression that as California goes, so goes the nation?
Walter, here's what I'm learning through this election. It's not about Trump, the hat. It's not about Harris. It's about D. It's all about me and what works for me. And I know that sounds terrible, but that's the truth of where we've come as a country because America's never going to recover. It's never going to be great again because people are too far on the extremes. People don't give a shit about each other. So you have to worry about what's best for you at this point.
You know what's the first thing that's going to be best for us, maybe,
What's
would
that?
be to get pharmaceutical ads off the airwaves.
Absolutely.
We got rid of tobacco ads. We got rid of like alcohol ads. This is really bad. Having it's a conflict of interest to have MSNBC being paid for by Pfizer, and then they're not going to say anything bad about Pfizer. And then they're going to put people in jail for not getting the Pfizer vaccine. It's crazy.
It's no different. It's politically, it's no different. Elon Musk shit all over Trump. JD Vance shit all over Trump. But then when they kiss up and they get the money, all of a sudden they become the best friend. That's the way politics works. Exactly what you're talking about. It's no different than how is it other countries can have cartoon characters taken off of cereal boxes because they don't want to influence children to eat shitty food for breakfast. But we can't do that in America. Why is that such a problem?
It's because the everything's corrupt in our country. The FDA,
Yeah,
the all of it, the EPA, they've all been paid off by the pharmaceutical companies, the military industrial complex, the
absolutely.
agricultural companies. Everything, they're all in their pockets, and so that's why they're not going to come down and get rid of these ads. They're not going to get. It's so sad, man. I mean, we're getting suckered by these organizations that people are supposed to trust, and they're stabbing us in the back.
This is why I tell you, Walter, when you get depressed and you get upset about the way things are going, you can't change it. So you might as well just enjoy your life.
Okay.
Have a nice
Where's my
cappuccino.
pot? I got to smoke
Have
some
a,
pot. No, I'm just
have a
kidding.
nice cappuccino. Go take a nice drive down the
Cappuccino.
coast. And, fuck it. That's what I said. Live well and just die after everybody else. That should be your motto.
Okay. I'll go with that.
Yeah. So it's a big election tomorrow. Go out and vote. I don't give a shit who you vote for. You can vote for Kamala. You can vote for Trump. Doesn't matter. You know what? Ultimately, it's not going to affect me. It's going to affect Walter. I don't know why Walter's so uptight about everything.
I am going to be depressed. I admit it. If she wins,
You are going to be depressed.
I am. I'm going to be. I'm not as much angry as depressed.
Do you want me to create a safe space for you, Walter? Do you want to
Give me
maybe
that
be like the
Waltz, give me
Hillary
that Waltz
voters in
hat.
2016?
I want to wear that Waltz hat.
You
Yeah.
want to? Do you want me to be like the Hillary voters in 2016? Are you going to cry and take time off, or no?
No,
And the
I
truth
won't.
is,
I won't cry, but I guess I'll be advocating for the Constitution, which I think they wanted to rip to shreds. That's the main thing.
I think both sides want to rip it to shreds.
Oh dear, that's terrible.
Can we sing "God Bless
Shoot,
the USA" together?
shoot me now. God bless
Hey,
America. I don't know the words.
God Bless the USA. You know the Lee Greenwood song?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was so touched by that until I learned he did a version for Canada also.
Yeah. Well, by the way, you were talking about you were making jokes about Trump with his dialect helping the good old boys and all that, but you didn't say
Yeah.
anything about Kamala's like changing accents when she speaks
Oh,
to black people or.
yeah. She's Caribbean. She's Jamaican. She's from the Bronx. You know, why
I know
not?
it's nuts. Okay.
All right. You have anything else to add?
No. Let me go. I'm start my sobbing now.
All right, people, go vote. God bless you. For Walter Jacobson, I'm Derek Christopher. It's going to be a different country when we see you next weekend.
Oh golly gee. Okay, man. Take care. Have a good one.
Take care. Bye, guys.
And I'm proud to be in Canada, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'd gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt